The UAE environment is in urgent need of attention. It is crying out for help. Though we have had advanced development, the environment has progressively deteriorated. According to WWF's Living Planet Report 2006, the United Arab Emirates has the largest ecological footprint. Even the USA is behind us. Ecological footprint measures humanity's demand on the environment to provide the resources we use and to absorb our waste. And to think, waste is just one of the problems for the UAE. Wildlife is adversely affected as a result of our lack of consideration. So with all this happening, it makes you wonder what the future of the UAE will be like. I went to find out from none other than those who are the future of this country, the youth. How well aware do you think you are of the environment? We'll start with you.
Yeah, not that well.
What do you think is the most pressing issue at the moment?
Yeah, I know. Littering in the ocean.
Littering in the ocean.
Yeah,
okay.
sure.
And do you see a lot of it in Dubai?
No, not here.
Not yet. Okay.
No.
Oh, you're new here too.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And how about you?
I have to say global warming because it's on the news all the time.
Okay, all right. That's a good answer. You?
The same thing, global warming.
Okay.
All the exhaust fumes and...
And where have you heard about global warming from?
What's his name?
Al
That guy,
Gore?
yeah, that guy that made that movie.
Have you watched any environmental films?
I remember watching one yesterday.
I watched one last night.
It was about turtles.
Mine was
Did you
about
watch
monkeys.
it?
I watched this
What was your about?
It's about monkeys, isn't it? It was just on and I just
Oh,
started
that was the
watching
came
it.
after the turtle one.
I don't know, it just came
I
off.
watched the turtle one. It's
I
pretty
watched the
good.
monkey one.
Okay. And did you enjoy those movies?
They were quite interesting. You just found out stuff, but then I got bored, so I went upstairs. And had a
Yeah.
shower.
My vision's not very good, so I need subtitles.
Yeah, I watched Animal Channel.
Okay.
Animal Planet.
Hi.
Hello. Do you watch environmental films?
No,
You don't? How come?
because they're stupid.
They're what?
Stupid.
And why do you find them stupid?
Because they're boring.
They're boring.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think if they were interesting, you would watch them?
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. And what would make them interesting?
Death.
Uh-oh. Not so good. Where really is the problem then? Next, I spoke to some parents.
About electricity usage? Well, it's mostly, I suppose, they mostly use television. I suppose the only electricity usage is television. You know?
Will they turn off the lights?
Can they turn off the lights? Oh yeah, I'm quite strict with it. They're not allowed to leave lights on.
Okay. Are there environmental-related discussions in the family? If there are...
Well, I suppose it's mainly to do with, recycling and also not to leave garbage around. Like when we go camping, we're very strict with them that they have to put all their rubbish away. We have to cart all our rubbish away with us.
Discussions in the family? Well, we come from Germany, you know. In Germany, we started all these environmental discussions in the 80s. So we've born and raised with it, so there's no discussion necessary anymore.
All right.
We come from a green country.
And do you intend to, sort of make your children aware as they
Yes,
grow
of course,
older?
of course.
Regarding electricity, they are aware of the wastage of electricity. Okay, they don't keep the AC on unnecessary. Yeah, only for essential purpose they use. Yeah.
And we unplug the phone charger after it's done.
Since the parents appear to be doing their job, I decided to speak to someone who was responsible for the environment and was doing something about it.
WWF has been here since the year 2001, and it is in association with a national agency, environmental agency called the Emirates Wildlife Society. Our work is to conserve nature and natural resources and promote sustainable living in the UAE. We have some program priorities. Education is one of them. And by education, we mean not only school, targeting schools, universities, colleges, and also the public. The Enviro Spellathon was very successful in terms of the kind of partnerships that it achieved across all Emirates, all for a common cause, that is the education of environmental education for children.
So with WWF doing this and so much more, why are teenagers still unaware of environmental problems?
I feel very sorry in some ways for teenagers at the moment. At school they're given an opportunity to learn and become concerned and start to become concerned about environmental issues. More than often it seems to stop there. There's not a great encouragement from that, beyond the school environment into taking out their interests and carrying out their interests in participating in environmental issues. Other parts of the world, we find that there are platforms for them and arenas in which to participate to become environmentalists and conservationists, and to maintain their interests right through into their adult life. Here we are always competing against the high level of consumerism, and so much effort in terms of advertising and marketing is directed towards young people today, that they're being bombarded by this consumerism. And in a culture also where we don't see a need for recycling, for instance, there's not a great support for recycling. Society isn't geared up towards really promoting environmental concerns. At the same time, they're seeing the business community create these huge developments which are desecrating the environment and basically putting other priorities first. So there's not even a model or role model, if you like, for people to follow, young people to follow. And certainly there's no direction, there's no sense of opportunity. You have to look hard for it. NGOs here are, in my view, not very effective, and certainly not really able to carry that message to young people strong enough. I think that media is the key. I think that very much what we need to start seeing is a type of media communication that encourages young people to be part of that evolution of conservationists. For too long, conservation environment has been handled by municipalities, by government authorities. The private individual finds it difficult to contribute or do anything that really creates the kind of role models that I think the region needs.
Media has often been associated with adolescence as a negative impact. So can this same medium in the form of documentary films affect teenagers' attitudes towards the environment?
I would think very little. I mean, I can't put a number on it, and it's
Yeah.
not sort of my field of research.
That's
or anything,
right.
But I would say purely showing a documentary, very little.
Very. How about repeated exposure to documentaries?
Repeated exposure makes a big difference with everything. Any sort of repeated exposure for people, for objects, for things, you become more familiar and more attracted to them. So as an idea, again, as a product, you become more attracted to environmentalism.
Okay. So could repeated exposure to environmental films affect the young in Dubai? I decided to find out with a group of school as well as college students. With these films, an investigation into the automobile industry, a fun-packed wildlife film, a global warning, Al Gore's An Inconvenient Truth, a glimpse into Arabia's marine life, and finally, the adverse effects of privatization of water. But first, they filled out a questionnaire so I could know more about their environment awareness. Even though 10 of 14 said that Dubai was environmentally unhealthy, only 5 actually had been involved in any environment activity in this year, and only 2 knew about the environment through documentaries. And in a general knowledge questionnaire, 60% of the answers provided were not correct. Thankfully, the screenings were a much better experience and generated a variety of comments.
Made me think about how valuable water is, and I'd never think in a million years that it takes like that much water to like, you know, like it just makes me feel how much I take water for granted.
Would you have actually driven it without, would have thought about driving it without watching this film?
I
We didn't even know about it.
No one's heard about it.
Another thing which I found really barbaric in a way was because you know that the peaceful protest that was going on.
Yeah.
And then they suddenly unleashed more than what 1,200 police and all, and they
Absolutely,
actually
the
fire on
American
those
way.
people.
That was very, very
That
scary,
is-
actually.
That's just barbaric.
Yeah.
He showed all the graphs, and then he didn't only show his point of view, he showed even the other people's point of view, because he said, well, this is what the other people say.
And it's not like individually, you know, loads of schools, you know, there's
They
school
would
trips
take
and stuff.
the students
They
there.
generally do, but there's a lack of, you know, places to go, so they don't.
Very shocked actually, like what the government did and the General Motors and how they actually went and took all the cars from everyone and just crushed the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, that was just very shocking.
Interesting to see like a whole different new world and like the underwater life.
But it shows how much they go through and all of their pain and how much they have to cope up with it and how they can't cope up with it.
The music was pretty upbeat and
Very kiddie-ish again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still,
The screenings ended off on a good note. The next step was to find out if the films had had any effect on them. So next, I carried out detailed individual interviews to find out what they really thought.
Electric cars was,
Yeah, I like that the best.
The electric car one influenced me the most. Well, because it was just shocking to know that in a world where we desperately need, like, you know, solutions to the pollution and problems we are causing, that when someone comes up with it, it's suddenly disregarded.
Shows how much people care about the environment.
Because all of them, you know, had different impacts, so it got really generalized.
World Without Water. It had pretty much all the scenes with the families, especially when they finally did get their water back, and they, like, by legal or illegal means, that really struck a chord. Seeing how happy they were, seeing how much it meant to them.
It was more realistic, yeah, like an inconvenient truth. It showed you figures, it showed you examples, but the water one, you were living through those examples.
And the water thing has been bothering me since I watched it.
Do you think you are more environmentally conscious after watching all those films?
Oh yeah, definitely, because they really helped to educate me. Like before, I sort of knew the stuff like this was going on because my mum's really into that sort of stuff. But I didn't really think about it that much. It was just at the back of my mind.
Yeah, I definitely.
What do you mean?
Okay, after watching Scarcity of Water, I felt that water is not something you should play around with. I mean, there's a limited resource, so I thought like I can't waste anymore.
If I make sure I drink a complete glass of water, if I take it, I don't like drink half of it and throw it away.
Have you felt that your attitude towards the environment has changed?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Don't try not to spend so much water. I'm getting a little more particular about littering.
Have you discussed any of the movies at home?
Yeah, all of them.
I discussed World Without Water with my brother.
Yes. Well, not all of them, but...
Which
like,
ones?
Who Killed the Electric Car, Inconvenient Truth.
And I told everyone about it, at least people I know about it, and I told them about the documents I watched.
Do you think you've got involved in more environmental activities ever since watching these films?
I would be more inclined to.
If given the chance, would you hold screenings of these films yourself?
Yeah, I would.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. And who would you persuade to go?
Well, I think that it's easiest if a school does it, because you know then everyone has to watch it, and someone over there, although they don't want to watch, they might say, "Oh no, why are they making us do this?" You know, but it just might trigger something.
Definitely.
Would they have an effect on teenagers?
Definitely. In fact, like, for all the kids who are going to be like, "Nah, it's going to be boring and this and that," just give them a quiz at the end of it. They'll sit and listen through the whole thing.
We need to educate ourselves a bit more.
Do you think that these films can be used in affecting the attitudes of young people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can.
And training them to be more environmentally conscious?
Definitely.
Do you think the films have made you care a little more about the environment?
I would say yeah, probably, but then in the end, I don't feel I can do anything about it.
Why
Not
not?
where I'm right now. I have no idea. Being in the UAE with like nothing here to do about it, like I haven't heard about any environmental thing being done or anything like that. Our university doesn't do anything about it, so.
Care about the environment more after watching these films?
Well, at least for water consumption and petroleum consumption, yeah.
I already showed that concern, etc. But these movies just made me be that little bit more responsible.
Do you think the films have made you care more about the environment and be more environmental conscious? About the environment now that you've watched all these films?
I do. I wish there was something to do.
Okay, so do you think if we showed these films to more teenagers in Dubai, it would make them more aware
Yes.
and care for the environment more?
Yeah.
No.
I'm a lot more firm about my decisions as pro-environment.
I mean, Dubai doesn't have that much going on, as I said before. They really don't know what they're doing with the environment over here. And if there are events which come up where we can help the environment, like the way I go to the Takeoffs run, I would go to the environmental drives, which are over here.
The interviews sure had surprising results, much better than I had anticipated. 10 of the 11 interviewed said that they had detected a change in their attitude, while all of them said that they now cared more about the environment. They also said that these films will alter the attitudes of teenagers, if only they could do something about it.
Well, you can show them a documentary lots of times and they think, yeah, I'd be well up for that. Unless you give them the means to actually do it straight away, that idea and that motivation will just fade.
Yeah, that's
so I think that's where the Teens for Positive
Action
yeah. is.
That's actually means for them to,
I think it would need to be like they come in and show the documentary and say, right, well, on Saturday we're doing this, who wants to sign up? It'd be something like that.
That's right, that's correct.
I don't think the teenage community should wait for anything. I think that what they need to do is to look for opportunities. They need to create those opportunities. They need to start trying to take initiative and actually help themselves to create projects that will get support.
What is it that we need to grab hold of in teenagers, psychologically speaking?
I think it's what we've been saying, that you need to make everyone feel that that's it's relevant to them and it's cool or it's okay to sort of be into that. I think you need to have a lot more sort of showing the impact. So getting them out there and cleaning up the beaches, just to kind of see, look, this is how much trash people drop on the beaches. It's awful.
I think that media is the key. I think that very much what we need to start seeing is a type of media communication that encourages young people to be part of that evolution of conservationists.
And I couldn't agree with Jonathan more. The results speak for themselves. As filmmakers, we now have a responsibility of using this medium to show the environment that we care.